Hello, everyone, and welcome to this explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here today. Look, you can think of me as your friendly professor and consider this your exclusive behind-the-scenes tour of a high-tech AI lab. Today, we're going to completely demystify how you can deploy, fine-tune, and, critically, secure powerful large language models, our AI brains, directly on your own machine in 2026. All right, let's just dive right into this blueprint and see exactly how all the pieces fit together. So here is our official lab map. We're exploring 6 distinct zones today. We'll start with a local AI revolution, head down into the engine room, hit the training ground, set things up at the deployment station, walk through a super important security vault we call Die Sicherheitsluke, and finally, we'll gaze into the future at the multimodal wing. Let's get moving. Zone 1, the local AI revolution. So, in 2026, the landscape has completely shifted, right? Thanks to platforms like Ollama, anyone, literally anyone, can run these massive AI brains completely locally on their own hardware. Now look at the left side there. The German word Datenschutz, which means data protection. This is the whole foundation of the local revolution. It gives you 100% privacy and zero API costs. When you run an AI model locally, your proprietary data, your customer info, your custom code, none of it ever leaves your network. And hey, because you aren't constantly pinging some massive cloud server every time you ask a question, those crazy expensive recurring API costs drop to absolutely zero. And this table perfectly illustrates why businesses are jumping ship. Let's look at the math. Running self-hosted retrieval augmented generation, or RAG, basically just costs you electricity, between 1/10 of a cent and 4 cents per million tokens. Now, compare that to budget cloud APIs charging up to $1.13, or the big frontier cloud APIs asking a whopping $15 for that exact same million tokens. To put that into perspective, self-hosting is literally 40 to 200 times cheaper. If you're doing a moderate volume of, say, 30 million tokens a day, you'll break even on your physical hardware in under 4 months. It's a no-brainer. Moving on to Zone 2, the engine room. To make this whole revolution happen, we need serious horsepower. And the absolute, undisputed king of 2026 consumer hardware is the NVIDIA Blackwell RTX 5090. Now, I want you to burn this number into your brain, 1.6x. The RTX 5090 uses this incredible new quantization format called NVFP4. Think of quantization like taking a massive, sprawling, multi-volume encyclopedia and magically shrinking all that text down into a little pocket paperback without actually losing the knowledge. Because of this new 4-bit format, your models are running 1.6 times faster than they did on the old BF116 standard. It's a massive, massive leap. But wait, it actually gets better. That raw speed comes with a 41% reduction in energy consumption. I know what you're thinking. Professor, don't we lose the AI's intelligence when we compress the model that much? Actually, no. The data shows that with NVFP4, you keep practically all of the model's reasoning capabilities, with a completely negligible 2 to 4% drop in quality. It is a genuine game changer for anyone building a local lab. All right, step into Zone 3, the training grounds. This is where the magic happens. We take standard base models and teach them highly specialized skills, a process we call fine-tuning. Here is your incredibly simple 3-step blueprint. Step 1, data is king. You do not need 50,000 examples to teach an AI a new trick anymore. Want an AI that writes flawless database queries? You really only need about 1,000 high-quality synthetic data records, like the ones you can generate with SQLGen to get benchmark-beating results. Step 2, we use open-source tools like Unsloth and QLoRa to train models at mind-blowing speeds. And Step 3, reasoning via GRPO. Inspired by models like DeepSeek R1, this actually teaches our newly trained models how to stop and think step by step, rather than just blindly mimicking text patterns. Let's actually pause on QLoRa for a second, because it's just fascinating. Imagine you're trying to teach a brilliant neurosurgeon how to play the guitar. You wouldn't send them all the way back to kindergarten to relearn the alphabet and basic math, right? Well, QLoRa works the exact same way. It acts as an adapter that updates only a tiny sliver, literally just 1 to 10% of the AI's brain. We are only tweaking the specific neurons needed for that new guitar skill. This is exactly why tools like Unsloth can train your models 2 to 5 times faster. Next up, Zone 4, the deployment station. Okay, so our model is trained. Now, how do we actually use it? The secret weapon for deploying an Ollama is the model file. Think of a model file as the ultimate job description that you hand to your AI right before it clocks in for its first day of work. It explicitly tells the AI what base model to use, what technical parameters to follow, and, most importantly, gives it a system prompt that dictates its entire personality and purpose. Let me show you how fun this is. Look at this prompt. You literally just drop a line into your model file that says, "You are Mario from Super Mario Bros. Answer as Mario the assistant only." Then, with one super simple command in your terminal, Allama create mario-f./model file, boom! Allama instantly builds and deploys this highly customized personality. You can do this exact same thing to create an expert coding assistant, a strict legal drafter, or a friendly customer service bot. It is genuinely that simple.
All right, moving to Zone 5, die Sicherheitslücke, the security vault.
I need to put my serious professor hat on for a second. While local AI gives us total privacy, it also introduces a massive vulnerability if you aren't careful. The critical concept here is Sicherheit, which means security, and specifically the absolute danger of ungeschützte API-Schnittstellen, or unprotected API interfaces. When you spin up an AI server locally, you are essentially opening digital doors on your network. If you fail to lock those doors, anyone on your local network, and potentially the entire internet, can just waltz right in. And guys, this is not a theoretical warning. We have seen real-world security alerts all over GitHub and Reddit about this exact thing. If your API is bound to 0.0.0.0 by default and your home router has UPnP, Universal Plug and Play, turned on, well, you might accidentally port forward your AI server directly to the public web. We've literally seen cases where absolute strangers hijacked unprotected local servers to process massive chunks of their own data, and even maliciously deleted or replaced the owner's local models. So, as an expert in this lab, here is your definitive checklist to lock things down. Number 1. Ensure your service binds exclusively to 127.0.0.1, also known as localhost. Number 2. Log into your router today and disable UPnP. Number 3. Use firewalls like UFW or Firewall to strictly block port 11434 from outside traffic. And finally, if you absolutely must access your local AI while you're sitting at a coffee shop, only do it through a secure mesh VPN like Tailscale. Remember this, an API key is completely useless if the foundational network firewall is broken. Finally, Zone 6, the multimodal wing. By 2026, our local models aren't just reading and writing text anymore. They are literally synthesizing entirely new visual realities. A perfect example of this is Humo AI, which is absolutely leading the charge in generating human-centric videos right on your local machine. By combining TIA, that's text, images, and audio inputs, your local AI can crank out incredibly realistic, human-focused video content right there on your RTX 5090. It opens up this staggering new frontier for creators, allowing you to generate full visual sequences without ever sending a single pixel up to a cloud server. And with that, we have officially completed our lab tour. We've covered the absolute revolution of privacy, the sheer muscle of the RTX 5090, the blazing speed of QLoRa fine-tuning, step-by-step GRPO reasoning, the pure magic of model files, the non-negotiable need for network security, and that exciting TIA multimodal future. The blueprint is now officially in your hands. So I leave you with this question. How will you build your local AI lab? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Stay curious and happy building.